Hey guys, today I received my ZD Racing Thunder monster truck, and it was just a little over $80 in a kit. And I watched a ton of videos, and a few people say, yeah, they're a good basher, but most people, say things break. So, but that's all right. Price is right, and I got a few online places to get parts, so I'm just going to go ahead with it. And I'm kind of was a mechanic most of my life, so I can fix stuff. But here we get a chassis, cut out for the motor, 4 really nice big tires. I think they're 120 millimeter diameter, so we got our 4 tires. These look pretty sturdy. Oh yeah, one thing is, I saw a lot of guys, the wheel nut comes off and then they lose it and the tire comes off, so I will put blue thread locker on those. Plus, the pinion gear on the motor, those are coming off for the guys, so definitely Loctite on that. But yeah, here is our front suspension, really big shocks. Before I build this thing, I will take the caps off the shocks, see how much oil's in it. I have my bottle of 80W90 gear lube. I don't really have fancy shock oil, but I'll be putting 80-90 in it. Or I'll see if they're full. If they're full, I'll leave them. And then rear suspension. And I saw in the parts bag, on the photo online, it showed the plastic spur gear, but it's hard to see in the plastic, but it's actually a shiny metal spur gear, so that's upgraded. And then here's our body, and I saw a lot of guys crack these when they rolled them over. That's pretty fragile. Maybe I'll reinforce it right away with duct tape on the inside or something. I don't really have shoe glue or drywall tape mesh stuff that I see other guys do. I'm in the Philippines, hard to get a lot of stuff. Then we got our sticker sheet, windows, and our decals, and then our instructions. So what I'm going to do, I guess it's, brushless ready. But before I get to that, I have my car grease there for wheel bearings and stuff. I'm going to take the differentials right out of here before I build it. Take the differentials apart and pack them full with the grease. Get those spider gears just 100% running in grease, because I see that's another weak point of these, but I'm kind of used to that. I got like this Zingla Hong 9125 with twin motors, and that goes through differentials every once in a while. And then I'm just kind of building up my 1/10 collection. There's a All-Star crawler chassis, which is axial clone. And then back to this build, instead of going brushless, I have WL Toys spare 540 motors, and that's what runs in this 1/12 scale short course truck. And on my GPS, this one with a 3S battery, all stock, goes 50 kilometers per hour. And I see the guys, when they get ready to run ZD Racing, 42 kilometers per hour is all they get on brushless on the 2S battery that they get it with. And then if you run the 3S, yeah, I guess it's 50-some to 60 kilometers per hour, but then everybody complains it's blowing differentials. So I'm going to use one of these motors. This is 35 turn on this one, 55 turn, but I got this whole big pinion gear assortment from ZD Racing, so I can gear them up. Otherwise, these are WL ones that go pretty fast. And then I got a whole assortment of some brush ESCs. And then I've got a Metal Gear Tower Pro servo ready to go. And then I've got 2 3S batteries. So I'll get to taking this apart, packing those differentials 100% full, checking my shock oil, and then I'll start my assembly, and then we'll do more videos in the future, and I'll let you know how this holds up. I already have parts coming. I have 2 more bodies coming, the blue and red one and then a black and red one, and then I have differentials on the way, and I have some lower control arms on the way, and then I have some of these C hubs because I see people break them, and I don't mind as long as I have the parts ahead of time and the parts are cheap and they're available. That's good enough for me. I used to buy Traxxas and Kyosho and Duratrax when I lived in the US, but now I'm in the Philippines and that stuff is hard to get, plus very expensive, so now I'm just going with the China stuff that's cheaper. So hopefully you guys will subscribe, keep watching. We'll see how fast this thing is on brushed. If it's not fast enough, I can go brushless, but I think it'll be fast. This thing goes 50 kilometers an hour, just out of the box, but with my 3S battery. So if I can get anywhere close to that, beat the factory speed of 42 with how they do RTR, I'll be happy. So thanks. Okay, I got the diff taken apart for the rear. A little bit of a job. Take the rear bumper off and the body mount post off, and then basically the lower control arms can drop down a little bit and you can split the case. So there is a little bit of grease in there, but I am going to fill that thing right up. I'm going to make it so full when I put it together to its ring gear, it's going to ooze out, because I think that's about the only way to make this last a little bit. And then it makes it a little bit more like a locked differential. Not really locked, but so much grease in there, the little spider gears, it makes them harder for them to just spin freely. So it'll make the rear wheels both, work a little better for traction. So, yeah, there's no grease at all on this ring gear. And in here, there's no grease on that, like a pinion gear that will run on this. So while it's apart, I'll put grease on that too. So hopefully get a little more run time out of this thing than most people do. But so far on my other RCs, if I pack the diff full of grease, that really helps. It kind of a little benefit of more traction, because it just doesn't let one wheel just spin so easy, and then it puts so much lubricant in there. I think it makes it last a little longer. Okay guys, it's getting pretty close. I put the decals on so it's got a face. I'm not going to put the Thunder decals on the side because I kind of like the carbon fiber look and all that cool stuff. I just put a little bit on there. The wheel nuts, I found like on one of these, if I cranked it tight, then the wheel didn't turn real good. So I did use the thread locker, and I just kind of got a happy medium where the nut was tight but not slowing down the wheel. And then really the only issue I had, same as another guy I saw in the manual, it shows 2 little grub screws to connect the spur gear to the back differential. Well, only one little grub screw was left over in the kit, a real tiny one for the pinion gear. So luckily I have this kit of a bunch of stuff for 1/10, and I took a longer grub screw. It's the Allen head wrench, and I ran it all the way through because it is only threaded on one side of the shaft, so only one little tiny grub screw would go in. Well, it still has a hole on the other side, but it's not threaded, so I think that would tear up the hole and make it egg-shaped and wreck it. So I put in a long one all the way through and some Loctite. I don't know what they put on the ready to run models, this is a kit, and another guy had the same issue, but other than that, pretty good. I got my steering servo mounted. The oil shocks, they were full of oil, but I put in my 80/90, and check this thing out. When I push down on it, watch how slow she comes up. Yeah, that's what you want. So you have a nice kitten landing when you're jumping stuff, and it's not bouncy at all. It's just nice and slow. So okay, that's our little update.